If you flirted with the idea of the levels of soul experience. So, in the basic activation meditation, I talk about your the light will flow through your divine soul knowing up through your divine soul and your human soul, up through your divine heart and your human heart, and then it spills over and fills all your bodies. So when I do that, I'm talking and just reminding people of the multidimensionality of us. And now when you start looking at harmonics and just playing what if, okay, with me here, and you consider how infinity goes in all directions simultaneously at once. Now, we could get really, well, there's not really such thing as infinity and, go off of that whole little tangent of, but let's just work off the premise that this
Mhm.
thing is really huge and it's going off in all directions at once. So you've got the soul that's here, you've got the divine soul that's here, and then you've got your oversoul
Mhm.
that is even watching all of those two things. So you've got the centermost center, but very much like on the human aspect, we've got our higher self the way I describe the difference between your divine soul and your higher self is your higher self. Think of it as it sits on the rooftop and really has a great view of the panorama of the neighborhood. And your divine soul is in the dimension that's creating it. Okay, so that would be the difference between the two. And that's why I talk about go to your divine soul knowing, because your higher self is automatically going to be involved,
Mhm.
but go to your divine soul knowing. So if you look at it that way, you still have that centermost, but if you have the oversoul that knows that it is sent that origin spark into this earth experience, then that becomes a really interesting playground to take a look at. Now, there's this whole movement, of be in the moment, be in the moment. And I totally agree with that on one plane, because if you're taking your past and projecting it into the future and living in the fear or and you're not really present, you miss out on some of the richness of you and the richness of the experience. So totally, I'm there with the mindfulness thought process.
Mhm.
And at the same time, you're driving along, your thoughts are somewhere else. You're not even sure where your thoughts are. You suddenly go, whoa, how did I get here? But yet you've done everything. You followed the speed limit. There was nothing. Okay. What if you put the label of bilocation of consciousness on that? And if you put that label of bilocation of consciousness on that, and you really rested into it and got comfortable with the idea, then flirt with that concept that you're already doing it, that you already are simultaneously at two places at the same time. Now, perhaps your focus can only snap in, your human focus can only snap in on that or snap in on that. But yet you're fully engaged doing that while your focus is snapped in over here. There's a part of you that is still fully engaged with that driving experience. So if you consider that a bilocation
Mhm.
and you relaxed into it and then just pose the question, I wonder if I'm doing that in other aspects of my multi-level consciousness. And then you really got to let go of everything that you thought you've ever known just to play in this what if field. And you may not agree with that whole what if premise at the end of the day, but interesting information will rise up to you that you can play with. So that's my other little what if game for the day. If you want to stretch and grow what already is, then go ahead and keep that in mind and just allow it to be elastic so that when new thoughts and ideas come into it, then it can stretch and grow. But if you're looking to do something new, or you're really wanting to take that leap really deep into the cosmic consciousness, then you have to let go of what you think you already know so that you can come to recognize a deeper truth. And then once you recognize that truth, you can pull back just the pieces of what you've known before, but they'll have new shape and meaning. So you don't try to take that new and put it into that old format. And I love that whole don't put new wine into old wineskins because it'll ruin the new wine. And metaphorically and also alchemically, that's exactly what it's telling you. But so once that new illumination or new piece of the puzzle or that new piece of information comes in, then you can allow that old thought process or that old paradigm to stretch and grow, evolve and mutate so that it makes more sense. The hard part, here's the really tricky part, is that when new information starts coming in and you know you've let go because there's also this little sinking in. It's like a vroom, and then you know you really have let go, and it can be very, very subtle. But if you're asking for big information, really take that time to feel yourself letting go and be willing to be shocked, surprised, gobsmacked, and hicklebottered. I just made that word up, but just hicklebottered. And when you are, and it rises up, react with a, "Oh, interesting," and do that. Don't go, "Oh, whoa, wow, ooh." That's you trying to put it into the old wineskin, or that's you measuring it by the old measurements. So just as it comes up, it's like, "Oh, relax into it again. Interesting." And you'll feel yourself, "Ooh," and that creates more space. So, and then you've stretched and grown or allowed your paradigm to be more elastic so that more information can come up. And you remember that each piece of information is vibrational. So you can't push this. You have to really grow into it vibrationally. And, that includes your physical body. And you can't push the growing vibration because it's the entire structure. There's some people that think you need to, you know, eat a certain way and do all of these things. It's a dit, 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 and they're making it very boxy and very dogmatic. Because I'm doing this for my spiritual growth. Well, you're going to only go to a certain point, and then you got to let go of what you think you know about taking care of your body. And it's that mind, body, emotional, vocal, psychic, light bodies, soul bodies, heart bodies, and all of the things that we address in that, little 11-minute basic activation of divine light vibrations meditation. And so the whole instrument evolves and grows together. You can't push one or the other. Uh, I say you can't. You can't if you want to have a true illumination that is for your highest good and the highest good of all involved. Sometimes trying to push one above the other is part of learning, of the trial and error process of learning that, gee, that didn't quite accomplish what I thought it was gonna. Okay, let me let go of that. So, if you find yourself getting, obsessed on one certain thing, don't beat yourself up on it. That's one of those stop, look, let love moments when you realize you do it. You just stop, you look at it, and go, "Oh, I get it. Okay, I let it go." And let this infinite unconditional love that's flowing through me and equally everywhere present transform it. We are so multidimensional. And so if I could even just put it in a very teeny, teeny, teeny concrete way. And we've talked about this in other conversations of selective perception, and you've got little kids on the playground and Johnny beats Freddie. And the teacher goes, what happens? Johnny has one version, Freddie has another, and everybody who does their reportage has their own version. And then they come together and they say, no, you saw this. No, we saw this. Okay. And then that becomes another little reality. And look at all these little dimensions that are going on just in that one instant. And then you take it the individual in that instant and just you've got your conscious mind and your subconscious mind. And we talk about that in the course, Meet the Infinite You. And sometimes you've got your wants and your not wants that are fighting it out. And that's another little multi-dimension that's going on you. So just those are like the little first awakening pieces of understanding who you are. And then the deeper you go, the more you let go of what you think you know. And the deeper you go into your divine soul knowing. And, you take that long journey through the emotional asteroid field, that we've talked about, but you get deep into that cosmic consciousness of you, then that's when you really start understanding how very, very multidimensional and beautifully made we are. And you really start to understand how complicated you've made it with just great art form, if we call complications art forms. But when you contemplate it all and you really learn to just relax into yourself and play what if, then there's all sorts of doorways that will open up. And you can even take that what if back to just the human concrete without even going into all of the heavens and all of the multi-dimensions here in the earth plane. We'll just keep it in a very concrete, pragmatic human experience point of view. When you really let go of what you think you know and you go into problem solving mode, I know you can come up with at least 3 different versions of what you could do to shift and get out of a situation, when you really play what if. What if I did that? What would happen? What if I did that? What would happen? What if I did that? What would happen? And you could just play. You've done the basic activation of divine light vibrations meditation. Just go ahead and play in the human realm, knowing that your divine soul is going to be guiding you, but just play in that human realm and start to play out the different scenarios. And if you still don't come up with any scenarios, it will give you an incredible mirror to the fears that are going on in your subconscious mind that want to keep you exactly where you are in your safety zone, your comfort zone. Thank you so much for listening, and thank you so much for being interested in learning on how to live your light more fully and freely with emotional freedoms that you haven't even yet begun to dream of, and that gives you the courage and clarity to live your divine soul purpose. Now, just so that I play well with the algorithms here on YouTube, be sure to like the video. Please leave me a comment because I do love more two-way conversations, and subscribe if you want to stay in touch with any of the new material that I'm putting out there.